Alicia, and I am back with the third layout for the series that I am doing with Hannah, Megan, and Christine called For the Love of Homemade Kits. And I decided to slow this section down here because I've got some questions asked. And so what I'm doing right now is I am mixing my texture paste. Now this is a technique that anybody can do with an ink pad. It could be any ink that you want. It could be dye ink, it could be um, uh, regular ink, it could be in Hero Arts ink, it could be any ink that you want that to, that'll make the colors that you want with the texture paste. And that's why I only buy white texture paste. So if you want to save yourself a little bit of money, just buy yourself a thing of white texture paste and then use your ink pads to give it some color. And you can also use spray inks, but spray inks are more liquidy, so I would just be careful with using those. So the ink that I used here is from Colorbox and it's called Mango and it's a dye ink. And so what I'm doing with this ink is I colored it, like I said, the texture paste, and the texture paste that I used is the Ranger texture paste there. That is, I think, the best one, to be honest with you. I've tried other ones and I didn't like them. They were a little too thin, and so this one is perfect consistency, and it also, when you mix it with the color, it takes the color very well. So I'm going to do a freeze here so you can see that texture, and you can see little bumpies there and everything. I thought that was a cool texture thing. So that's why I slowed that down, so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and what I'm using for that. So now what I'm doing is I just matted this photo here of my granddaughter on some cardstock here, some white cardstock, and that was some leftover cardstock. So I decided to go ahead and use it, excuse me, because I only needed the little bit of the white to show. So what I'm doing now is that bold piece of pattern paper that I picked for this kit. I am going to use that, and I'm going to be cutting some circles out. So while I'm doing that, and making a banner too as well. While I'm doing that, I'll tell you a little bit about that photo there. That photo is of my granddaughter, and instead of her, which I found kind of hilarious, holding the bat with both hands, she decided to put one hand on the hip and hold the bat with the other hand, which is what you're really not supposed to do when you're taking those kinds of photos, but that's what she did. So um, right now I am going to make a mat for that banner too as well on some of this orange cardstock that I got out of my stash, which is a basil cardstock. And I'm going to have a little bit of the orange showing on the edge, and so I'm matting that as well and making a banner out of the rest of that. So back to the photo. And at first, when I first saw this photo, because I wasn't paying any attention, I thought it was my grandson because you didn't see any hair hanging out or anything like that. And she's got this ponytail. So those two look like twins. I kid you not. If you've seen David's picture of him in baseball, you would see what I mean. But that is why the title is what it is, because it's just hilariously funny how I'm like, oh, David looks so cute, but he looks awfully young. Anyway, my daughter thought I was losing it for a second. And, but anyway, so that is Faith. And that's why the title was going to be called Old Girl, because I was like, oh. And so, with her hand on her hips and everything, she's something else. But she did take the proper photo after a bit there with the photographer. But I just thought this was cute and hilarious because that is all Faith right there, just posing with her hand on her hip and thinking that this is such what they call those photo shoot for models or something like that. But anyway, so I am, let's see, working here with some more of that paper. I am making a smaller banner to put at the top here of the layout over that orange piece there that's cut at the top, because that's where one of my clusters is going to be. So what I am doing here is figuring out what stickers to use on this sticker sheet. Now, I realized that I didn't pick the right sticker sheet, but I'm going to work with that sticker sheet anyway as much as I possibly can. And then I'm also going to use up a little bit more of this acetate too as well to put on this layout. So you'll see how I use that here in a little bit. But I just kind of wish I had to pick a different sticker sheet. I'm not happy with that sticker sheet. But like I said, it's just whatever. I'll just make it work and see how it goes. So right now I am going to see if I can put a little extra orange here on this part of the layout, because as you can see, the two pattern pieces of paper, one's going horizontal, one's going vertical. It needs something to break it up other than that piece of acetate. So that's why I'm sticking those pieces of the orange cardstock in there so that it can give it some more interest and not look so blah, you know. So with the two cardstocks blending together, the bold pattern paper, it just wasn't gonna look right with just those on there. So, and then here are some of the circles that I cut as well from off of that pattern paper. Now you see that little sign, that note to self. You're going to see him often here until I figure out where I want to put him. So as I'm thinking here, I do need to put something else down here, and I need to make sure that I get a nice little cluster at the top. So then I'd put that note to self up there. Like I said, there it goes again. You're going to see that happen often. So, and I pulled out a bunch of little die cuts, and not really knowing where I wanted to put these die cuts, I just start kind of fiddling around here in the layout, trying to figure out where I want to put them, how I want to put them. I didn't have a plan, really, to be honest with you, for these die cuts, but I did have a plan for the basic part of the layout, and that part is going to go fine because I'm going to glue everything down here right now, as you can see, because I'm satisfied with how that looks. But what ends up happening is I try to figure out where all these die cuts are going to go. I mean, I even have orange buttons on the side, and they don't even make it to the layout. And I have a green button over there on the side. That doesn't make it to the layout. So, like I said, I didn't really have a plan for this, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I had, at least fool around with the die cuts and try to figure out where I'm going to put them. Alrighty, so let's see here. I think, yeah, let me see what I'm putting that. Yeah, sorry, I'm mumbling to myself here. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, there I go. Okay, so I'm putting that down there. And I'm going to put another large piece of the orange cardstock here at the bottom here of the layout here. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so sorry about that interruption there. Folks calling you throughout the house there. They can't let you alone while you're doing your voiceover. But anyway, so now what I'm doing is I'm trimming up that little piece right there, that little die cut that says Bright Idea. And I'm going to fiddle around until I figure out where I want that to go. And it's going to sit there for a minute until I feel that it's comfortable for me to put it up there. And if I like it up there, so I'm just going to let it sit there before I decide to glue it down. And I do that a lot. I just let things just kind of sit there until I decide that I want it in that area, or if I feel like that's a good spot for it. And it's moving around on my layout right now because my ceiling fan is on. So if you're wondering why it's doing that, that is exactly why. So now I'm going to work on a little cluster down here, and I got that little note to self again, and I'm trying to figure out if I want it down there. It does eventually end up on the layout. It does, but I do fiddle around with it, I think, one more time before I decide to where I want it to go. And right now it's just sitting there at the bottom on that right hand side there, as you can see, to kind of change frames there. And I think I'm going to end up going ahead and figuring out that's where I want it after a while. Yep, and there I go. Yay, I finally get that thing glued down. Anyway, so now I am working on this cluster over here, and I'm getting all of the stuff, and there is a sticker there next to that camera from the sticker sheet, and then that sticker right there is also from the sticker sheet. And I'm trying to figure out how I want that die cut to go down, so I'm pulling that. And see, that's the thing with die cuts, you just kind of fool around with them and see how you like them. There's no right or wrong. Oh, sorry, I cheated. Did you see that? I held up those enamel dots, so I'm going to be using those. And they weren't originally chosen for the kit here, but I am putting those down because I cannot do a layout without some enamel dots or some kind of something to put down on my layout. And it's just like I would do if I had a regular kit from Scraptastic, which is where I get my subscription kits from. But it's the same thing I do with them. If they don't have what I need, I just go to my stash and pull out something. So like enamel dots or something like that. So But yes, I'm going to use a few of those. And I put the 3 clusters, and I almost put one too many at the bottom there and said, oh, nope, nope, nope. But I do have something to put there. I just wrote the date down on that little tab, and I'm going to go ahead and figure out how I want um, that to be. So let's see, what am I doing here? All right, so now I'm going to outline, partial outline this piece of cardstock because to give it some interest because it's a little bit plain there. So, and now I'm going to draw my journaling lines, and I'm going to write down some journaling, just a little bit, not a whole lot about this layout, but it basically just tells you about Faith is a character and she's something else. I don't even want to begin to tell you guys how much fun it is to spend with that child. That child is just so fun, and she's such a lovable girl too. I like that. Um, so then after I finish journaling here, I look at my layout and I know there's something missing, and it is going to be my title. So here I am bringing out these older thickers, and these are thickers, as you can tell by the top, they're a little bit older, and the iguana, that's the font for those stickers. So now that I have my journaling down, and normally I don't work that way. I usually put down my title and then I put down my journaling, but in this case, I am putting down, I put down my journaling first, and now I'm going to put down my title. And this is going to be a cool kind of way I'm going to put it. I like how it kind of snuggles itself right in that little empty spot that's right there beside the journaling. And it's going to work out really good to put over there. So, and I kind of like it like that. So I have to remember to do that again. I think it's pretty cool how it kind of just nestles right in there like that with the journaling. So I'm fooling around here and I'm starting to put them down. And I've had these stickers for a while, and I love them because they're like a puffy, but not really a puffy. They're before the puffy stickers started coming out really good, and they're just perfect. And they're called iguana, and I like those. And I'm going to cut out that little piece right there because I want to make sure that that is not hindering the way of the G. So it's still a G though. So I know it looks kind of funky, but it's so now I'm using some more puffy stickers here from the Freckled Fawn, and I'm using those orange ones. And I think I am pretty much ready. And I decided to cut that little piece right there into a banner. And now I think that's pretty much it. So now you can see how, and I'm pointing to the side there of the acetate and how you can still see through it there, and you can see the texture paste. So I like that a lot. And so I'm done with this layout. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and be sure to tune into Hannah's, Megan's, and Christine's to see what they come up with as well. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.